FBI leaked phone call with Obama and Trump.
And that's where I see America's future.
Okay, yeah, you made some good points. But let me ask you a real question, like a serious question.
Go ahead, shoot.
Okay, do you think it's weird to cup your own farts and smell them?
Donald, only weird people don't cup their own farts and smell them.
Exactly. Well, I did it the other day, and Melania looked at me like she looks at the caged alien in the White House basement. I'm thinking, listen, lady, you come from a backwater swamp from Europe. Your people still eat bugs and live in mud huts. What the hell do you know?
Well, I got one word for that, Donald.
What's that?
Women.
Well, yeah.
Women, my man.
Yeah, well, that's why I never liked Hillary. A stuck-up pig like her doesn't drop dirty dusters. Never. Not in a million years. Not happening.
I gotta stop you there.
Go ahead.
Well, Hillary has one of the dankest fart boxes in the game.
You're lying.
I'm not. I swear on Michelle's hatred for fat kids. Put it this way. If she was in office, we would be calling it the Brown House. I mean, we're talking real bombs over Baghdad.
Wow, really?
It's like she came, she farted, and I died.
Wow, who would have thought fat loser Hillary is a real fart Frankenstein?
Yeah, well, I gotta wrap this up, Donald. I got a meeting with the DNC to figure out how we're gonna take out Joe.
Just shove him in a room with a Matlock marathon. You'll never hear from him again.
Hey, not a bad idea. Well, I'll see you next week at the child sacrifice.
Okay, see you then, Barack.
Well, take care and hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
It's like the AI knew that it needed to add the Hail Satan to make that conversation more believable. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name is Zukradowski here of WeAreChange.org, and there is a plethora of absolutely crazy news to get into, as it looks like our current political social situation is getting a lot stranger. This, as of course, predominantly, we are seeing rumors that the former president of the United States might soon be arrested. What's going on here? What's the bigger meaning here? What's the bigger dangers ahead here? Well, we're going to be talking about that plus a lot more all here on this independent media broadcast. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was originally shared by Steven Mustache Show. That's how I saw it. I don't know if they actually did this or if they took someone else's work, but this artificial intelligence, fake conversations between all the presidents are being released everywhere online, and they're absolutely hilarious, and whoever's making them, shouts out to them for making us laugh. And we're going to be, of course, putting their link to their channel and to their work down in the description below. If you know the original creator of this work, let us know down in the comment section below. For now, we're going to put Steven Mustache Show. That's where I first saw it. And shouts out to them for sharing this brilliantly hilarious work, helping us having a moment of joy and happiness during, of course, extremely uncertain and very dangerous times for everyone. This is, of course, the corporate media and a lot of big tech social media sleuths want to distract you with the latest divide and conquer agenda. The latest drop is that somehow coffee is racist. How? It's black. All of this as the main topic of discussion is the possible arrest of a big national leader, and that, of course, is Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia. This as the International Criminal Court in Europe just issued an arrest warrant for the president of Russia for allegedly kidnapping children from Ukraine and then relocating them in Russia. This as the ICC is accusing the president of Russia for deporting, quote, at least hundreds, possibly more, children from Ukraine to Russia. The Russian government has responded, saying specifically the ICC decision has, quote, no meaning for our country, including from a legal point of view. This as some European politicians and bureaucrats are saying that they are, quote, confident that they could finally put the nail in the Russian president. This as, of course, just moments ago, Vladimir Putin did a surprise visit to Crimea, a territory that is at the heart of this larger proxy warfare between the East and the West, and a key strategic military port for the Russian Empire that, according to them, they need to hold on if they're going to have any kind of influence or power on the world. It is their only warm water deep port, and the Ukrainians are saying that they're going to take it back. This as a lot of the fighting centered in Ukraine right now is centered around supply lines, water routes, water rights, specifically all related to Crimea. Many of the major battlefields, specifically in even Bakhmut and in the south of Ukraine, are all centered towards, of course, isolating Crimea. This as Putin visited the peninsula, said hi to local residents, visited them in their own homes, as we're getting more reports of China, specifically giving lethal aid and body armor to Russia through, of course, intermediate parties. This is something that we've been saying has been going on for months. Politico is now reporting on this. This as, of course, there's going to be a huge meeting between the Chinese and Russian government later on this week. And this shipment of firearms, drones, and other aid from China to Russia through Turkey and the UAE shouldn't be a surprise to you, since, of course, both of these countries are politically and economically aligned against the U.S. petrodollar. This as China is developing swarm drone warfare, according to the latest intelligence assessments, that would be utterly devastating and an utter nightmare to deal with. But hey, before the next global conflict and supply lines get cut and you won't be able to get anything, to get your hands on the bestpoliticalshirts.com, our own website where you can get a huge amount of incredible t-shirts, shirts, sweaters, certificates of recognition, which, by the way, we finally just fixed our shipping debacle. We have a few limited supplies left, and if you want to get your hand on this very limited special custom item order with your name on it, make sure to go to I'mTheRealOG.com. It's also available on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. We have a lot of anti-war shirts. We have a lot of shirts against the police state, against the larger lunacy and insanity that we face in our modern day society. One of the shirts that I'm wearing right now is, of course, from thebestpoliticalshirts.com, showing you the dichotomy of the Venn diagrams that Kamala Harris loves so much of our current situation between 1984, Brave New World, and Fahrenheit 451. It's one of our oldest shirts. It's one of our best sellers, and you can get that one along with the Mean Tweets one, plus a plethora of other ideas that you cannot share on big tech social media, but you can wear it in the streets, in the supermarket, at the banks, and letting your fellow neighborhood and community know that you are not falling for all the latest psyops. If you're a member of LukeUnfiltered.com, you get special deals and special exclusive t-shirts that are only available to you at cost. We even have a shirt of the month specifically from our main store. And whether you're celebrating Let's Go Brandon or exposing international trafficking operations, thebestpoliticalshirts.com is the store to be, even if you just want to laugh by exploring our huge catalog of shirts that are available for you, all just by clicking the link down in the description below. I will see you there right after this broadcast. As of course, the main topic of this video is currently what is happening with the former president of the United States, as many prominent blue check mark liberals are crying about how horrible Putin is for arresting his political opponents, like Alexei Navalny, who is still in jail right now. This as, of course, they cheer on the news that the former president of the United States and the political opponent to this establishment regime will also soon be arrested. This as the current regime, the current president of the United States, literally has extensive business dealings with so many different countries, with them funneling money into his private businesses, into his family's accounts, over $100 million from Russian oligarchs, from the Chinese government, to the point where even CNN is admitting that these bank transactions that we all know about of the Chinese government-connected corporations giving the Biden family millions of dollars, quote, don't look good. The president's son is literally on video, smoking crack, hiring women of the night, doing crazy things, as he even left a firearm outside of a school, openly lied on government forums, and no prosecution there, but Donald Trump, yep, he needs to go to jail immediately. What is he going to jail for? Well, it's complicated and very convoluted, and I haven't seen many news anchors present a very kind of easily understandable explanation to what's going on here, but essentially a campaign finance violation regarding Stormy Daniels. Yes, you heard that correctly, because the former president of the United States decided to have paid relations with a woman that he paid. Somehow that's a FEC fine, because allegedly he had some intent moving the money around. Again, The whole thing is absolutely confusing, and on its initial face and merit, absolutely makes no sense at all, especially compared to the huge sums of money, the huge amounts of crimes that many other politicians routinely commit almost every single day. And if they're going to be getting him on a technicality, on a campaign finance violation related to Stormy Daniels, that out of all the things you could try to get him on, when of course he's one of the most investigated men on the earth, in my opinion, you got to be kidding me. This is ridiculous. This, as some legal experts are saying, that he could be arrested Tuesday, be even denied bail, as some people are saying that he's going to try to, quote, incite a January 6th style riot or tour of a particular place by police law enforcement. It depends on where you are on the political spectrum, how you see that particular event, as of course the former president of the United States has been truthing a lot on his social media platform, and in many instances has been also calling for protests. His latest post is that, quote, the American dream is dead, writing on all caps, telling his supporters to, quote, protest and, quote, take our country back. Now, with this particular charge, even if he is convicted of it, he could still run for the presidency in 2024 and even win. But we're going to be talking about the protests and that possibilities of him winning here in a little bit, but let's deep dive into what's really going on here, as of course it is a very woke district attorney in New York City that is going after Donald Trump, that has received a substantial money from Mr. Soros, who has been using the political justice system as his own form of political influence, as the many people that he has bankrolled have been punishing people based on their political beliefs, rather than, of course, if they actually violated any crime or rule or law. By pouring millions and millions and millions of dollars into local district attorney races, he has essentially bought himself a type of political justice system that, of course, favors his political ideology and heavily punishes his political opponents. That is clear as day. Now, is this indictment political? Absolutely. This, as some sources are reporting anonymously, that, of course, the Manhattan DA's office is allegedly, quote, in chaos, and that allegedly 60% of the office there, quote, wants no part of this and wishes that the higher-ups would just stop this immediately. This, as this Manhattan district attorney just came out and released a statement saying specifically to all the members of his office that, quote, we do not tolerate attempts to intimidate our office or threaten the rule of law in New York, specifically saying that he will not be intimidated here. This, as there have been a lot of calls for protest for this. Very interestingly, a lot of people who are vehemently against the former president of the United States, like Mike Pence and even John Bolton, have come out in support of the president of the United States. This, as even Mike Pence has said that the arrest of Trump would be a, quote, politically charged prosecution, which, according to John Bolton and even individuals like Elon Musk, would help Donald Trump win re-election in the upcoming presidential election in 2024. And I would absolutely have to agree with their political assessments here, as of course this whole thing is politically charged, and I think will backfire on the people who are trying to arbitrarily punish the former president of the United States. Absent from a lot of the statements is, of course, the governor of Florida, which some supporters are telling him to, quote, deploy the National Guard in order to protect the ex-president of the United States. This, as of course Trump has been vehemently attacking the governor of Florida very viciously, a lot of the times with the confusion of many fellow Republicans who are like, why are you doing this? DeSantis has not yet responded against the many punches that Trump has been throwing at him, and one reason could be is because this could be a part of a larger strategy, as he knows that Trump is going to get a lot of support now, a lot of backing, as a lot of people would be outraged if he is arrested. And if you remember, as we were telling you months ago, that they will be arresting the former president of the United States. I said that specifically on the Timcast IRL broadcast, and now we're seeing the fruition of this. And let's be honest here, it most likely will happen. Now, when this does happen, what will happen? Well, who really knows here, but a lot of people online are saying, if you see this guy at a protest, run the other way.
We need to go into the Capitol. Into the Capitol. What? No! Peacefully. Fed.
as a lot of people are saying that people could be set up here, and this could be the event that could trigger a lot of violence, which I think we should be doing all in our power to try to prevent. Congresswoman Major Taylor Greene even came out and said that Republicans don't need to protest here after sending mixed messages on social media, as many people are worried that there's going to be some kind of incitements of violence, some kind of larger setup event, and some kind of larger potential even false flag event to try to paint Republicans in a worser light. Regardless of the mixed signals on social media by many Republicans, New York City police officers are preparing for the worst, as they have just mobilized 700 disorder control riot cops in New York City to be potentially ready for any kind of civil unrest, any kind of protest. This as state, city, and federal law enforcement have been meeting to discuss how to deal with the potential of widespread protests following an anticipated Trump arrest. And if protests do happen, I'm going to be doing my best to cover them as best as I can on the ground and try to do some live on the ground reporting for you guys. So stay tuned for that. We're launching a live show here very soon. Click the subscribe button, click the notification button, but that might not even work at all. Who the hell knows? We got a lot of important things coming your way. A lot of crazy developments happening right now. We're going to be covering that, plus a lot more, all here on this independent media broadcast. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively watching and sharing these videos and also buying the shirts on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.